It's hot today, guys. I'm getting wore out. It's toward the end of the day. But I wanted to do this video for you. I think it's about the seventh year or so. You see me swatting. The bugs are really bad today. I sprayed down, but it's not helping. Anyway, we have all these roadways through this new piece of property here. And this is 76 acres. And 20 of it is in tillable ground where the farmer plants soybeans and corn. They rotate each side of the fields. There's a road that goes down through the center. And this year, coming into the property, the beans are on the left and the corn's on the right. And opposite years, it's flip-flopped. So the beans are out there, the corn's out there. Obviously, it's all going to get cut, but those beans will provide a lot of nutrition for the deer, throughout the area. And it's all ag country around where we're at. We kind of have, our woods is kind of the part of the biggest chunk of the woods within this whole area, within 2 or 3 square miles. And it's all ag, it's all beans, it's all corn. So there's plenty of food out there in the ag fields. So what I'm doing is, I think this is the 7th year I've been using this product, and I usually do like 1 or 2 videos a year about this. And all through here is all blackberry bushes and honeysuckle and everything. Because you guys can see through the B-roll, I came through with a pressure washer set up. I've done this many times on videos, and a lot of people ask questions about it, but it's just a pressure washer, 50-gallon tank, and the pressure, the weight of the water, pushes that through the hose into the pressure washer. Now, you can get better results out of it if the tank was higher than the pressure washer, or if it's the same level, you can put an inline pump in it to help suck the water out of the tank and pressurize that inlet water to the pressure washer, have better results. In this case, these roads are hilly, so I was able to go down the hill when the tank was full and then work my way around. As I was going uphill, the water was forced back to the back where the drain is to put pressure on the water inlet to the pressure washer. But we sprayed all of this browse. I mean, all these roads, the sides of the fields. I went up through the woods, and it was windy this morning. The wind was blowing down this way, so I came through the roadways, and that I was blowing with the wind, and it just carried that mist. It's like atomized all the way down through here, all this browse and the honeysuckles and blackberries and ragweed. There's all kinds of ragweed down on the bottom road. And I had a comment last year where it was like, oh, Dave, you're spraying the roadways. You can use those roadways for access. Well, yeah, in some cases you can. In this case, we're not using the roads for access just because the roads are there. These roads are already here for the gas. This is a gas road. They go down to check the gas wells and stuff. And just because the roads are there doesn't mean you need to use them for access. In this case, if we were to use these roads for access, we'd probably spook the whole woods out. There is one road at the very top, and it goes straight down to the bottom. That's the only road we're going to use to access to get to the backside of the property, where there's a huge ridge that we did a bunch of hinge cutting, dropped some trees, and we actually put a water hole. We're using that side for bedding. That's the only road we're going to use. But all this in here is all bedding, and the fields are up this way. And we were actually able to work a deal out with the farmer where we took roughly 3/4 of an acre, some on this side of the road and some on the other side of the road, to plant a food plot up against the wood line. And we're actually going to screen that in with Egyptian wheat for access. So it's going to be very good. And then there's a huge ridge system right over here that goes all the way to the other side through a bedding area. And we worked on a food plot trail, we worked on a travel corridor through this ridge where you're walking through the field and it just drops over. There's a ridge system that comes through, crosses actually pretty much through here, goes up this way, and then wraps around to another bedding area, and we actually have another water hole over this side. But what we're doing is we're spraying all of this mineral throughout the entire property, and it's pretty basic, with what you're spraying, because all the trade, I mentioned this 100 times, but all the trade shows I've been to years ago, natural browse is the backbone to all deer herds. Without browse, you got nothing. Food plots are supplemental. I say that all the time, and it's so true. If all this browse wasn't here, yeah, there's ag, but what happens when the ag is cut and you have no browse and you have no food? Then food plots come in hand, that are supplemental. But this browse is here year round, and we're just spraying what they're eating already. And there's deer up and down these roadways. You can see through here, I'll show some B-roll, but all the sheen on all this browse, what that is a sticker. And it's just like if you're spraying like glyphosate or something, has a sticker, you know, it helps stick it to the leaves so it makes it rain fast. Well, this product, Antler Grow, has a sticker in it called Argosy. And Argosy is, you know, it's what I'm told, is the best sticker in the business. You know, people actually call this, you know, Antler Technologies to get this sticker from the farmers and stuff because it's the best sticker. It can literally rain and it 5 minutes later and it can't be washed off. You know, Jeff and stuff, he actually sprays in the rain. I've done it before, just add a little bit more to it, but you can spray in the rain, it can't be washed off, and all this sheen on there is a sticker that, you know, just sticks it to the leaves. And also in this product is a surfactant, and what that surfactant does is actually loosens the pores of the plant to allow that mineral and micronutrients to be sucked into that plant so it can never leave the plant. Now, being that this property, it's a brand new property, I've never sprayed this property. This is the very first time we're in spring green up, and these plants are like, dude, what the heck did you just do? You hit me with all this stuff, you know, what is it? And it's going to basically utilize those micronutrients, and it's going to suck those in very fast. It's going to use them as fuel for the plant. So as time goes on, you know, in another 30 days, 40 days, 45 days or something, we'll come through and spray again. Throughout the summer, those plants will then have enough nutrients built up in them to where when I spray, it's not going to diminish the, if you were to do a plant tissue analysis or whatever, it's not going to diminish those numbers as fast because you're building those numbers up. And then once that plant reaches a level to where it's like, hey, I have enough, you spray it, then it's like, okay, well, then it uses what it needs. You know, if it needs this, it utilizes it as time goes on. And being that the mineral and stuff is stuck on the outside, not only on the inside, when the deer come through, it's like a double-edged sword, you know, it's on the inside of the plant, goes down to the roots and everything, but it's also on the outside. So when you have sun and dew and stuff on those leaves, early mornings, you get those cool temperatures, you get that dew on the leaf, it just sucks that product right in. And a lot of people, you know, I get questions throughout the year about this product. It's insane because it's exploded over the years. And this is mineral, you know, when, you know, if you were to do any soil sample across the country, micronutrients is the missing link to everything. It's so powerful, not only as an attractant because you're giving the plants the nutrients they need and it creates a more palatable plant. So, you know, in areas where Midwest, we have good soils, you have micronutrient rich soils, and farmers are liming and fertilizing and things like that. That's where you see your bigger deer, is because of the soil. You know, the soil gives it to the plant. We're actually it's always important to correct soil when you're doing food plots and stuff like that, so that soil can give it to the plants and then give it to the deer. So what we're doing is actually kind of reversing nature, and we're just foliar feeding, and we're giving it back to the plant through the leaves. It's very powerful. They use it, Jeff uses it, we use it in the property in Kentucky. He sprays all the pastures and everything with the crops of cattle, and that's crops of cattle is just another part of the business where they, you know, sell to ranchers and stuff for hay production and for the cattle industry and stuff. Antler Grow is just, you know, we use it for hunting and attracting wildlife and different things like that, but it's very powerful. You know, all this stuff here, you know, deer are going to come through here and start eating this stuff, and you're just giving them the minerals they need. You know, most guys are used to taking, you know, a bag of mineral, you know, and dumping it in the ground. And really, what is that really doing? You know, you're covering a 3-foot circle. We just covered 20 acres, you know, with a pressure washer. So it's like, you know, what's your 3-foot circle going to do compared to 20 acres of browse and food that they're already eating, you know, as nature intended. And with that mineral that you dump on the ground, you know, there's really no scientific study that it actually really works. And people say it all the time, well, you know, no, there's really not any studies that works, but there's no studies that it doesn't work. Well, if you think about how nature works and how plants work and how animals get their nutrition, realizing that dumping something in the dirt, forcing a deer to eat dirt, really isn't benefiting anything. You know, when you go through here and a deer takes a bite of this plant, okay, that's sprayed, it's getting all those nutrients as nature intended in the correct form. It's just like if we take vitamin D as a supplement, right? vitamin D is fat soluble. So if we take it and don't eat a fat with it, our body doesn't utilize that, and it doesn't utilize it. It's the same thing with browse and plants and things. When deer consume that, right? If they're eating a mineral off the ground, it's just mineral. It doesn't have all the other cofactors in the plants and things like that to help them utilize that mineral. When you start spraying everything, all the browse and your food plots and everything, and the more and more and more and more you spray, you'll start to see the benefits of it with body weight the first year. I showed this on the old property that I had, and the body weight goes up and everything. You're just creating a healthier environment for wildlife, not only for deer, but for birds as well. And I don't know, we sprayed 200 gallons of mixed product, and I have a 50-gallon tank. We sprayed I filled that up 4 times, and we used a couple gallons of antler grow, and we just sprayed all of this in a few hours, and this place is now on steroids. Everywhere a deer walks, they're getting nutrients, they're getting mineral through food as nature intended. And we'll come back through and we'll spray again about 45 days later. And if I have time or whatever, we'll actually spray a 3rd time before the end of the season. Once we get our food plots in, they'll establish 3-4 weeks later, we'll spray them, and then we're done. And the cool thing about this is, if a deer, takes a bite of this, right? Takes a leaf, takes a bite, and we're getting into the fall where all this stuff is going dormant. All this woody browse and briars, the nutrients are still there when the leaves fall off, because that plant sucks that in, and it goes down through the whole plant. So in the winter months, right, that's why it's so important to have woody browse on your property and briars and things like that, because when the leaves fall off, the deer focus on woody browse. So we know that we already sprayed that, so therefore we know that the nutrition's already there because we sprayed it. Even though the leaves fell off, or they've been consumed by an animal, it's still there in the woody part of the stem. So any questions about this, leave a comment down below. I'm excited we got this done. First time spraying on the property. We have a few other things to do, and it's getting late here. I'm gonna pack up and head home, and like I said, we'll keep you updated on all this. And we got 3 weeks. We're putting in a food plot on both sides, like I mentioned earlier. Not necessarily feed the deer, because there's tons of beans and all this browse and stuff in here, but we're just going to be planting a soil builder blend just to kind of help prevent weeds throughout the spring and summer. And leading into the fall, we'll be tilling all that back in, planting a fall plot from Domain Outdoors. But any questions about this video, about the product, how to use it, how to spray it, when you spray it, just Google search Antler Grow Whitetail Obsession Outdoors or something, and tons of videos come up. A lot of different ways you can utilize this and use it, and I'll help you guys out. So give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you guys are new. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you want more information on food plots, soil samples, and habitat management, click this video right here on the screen. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you guys are new.